Brothers and sisters and family members, my name is Leonard Aguilar, and I am the president of the Texas AFL-CIO, and I want to welcome you to our 2026 convention here in Georgetown, Texas. As I always do, for those of y'all that have heard me, it's something I do every time. And before we get too far along, I always got to make sure I got to ground myself and I got to center myself because I need to thank my family. I need to thank my family because, like I've said it before, without them, I would not be standing here without their support and their help. So I hope each of you take a moment to remember, those who are important to you and those that have helped you get to this point. We've all had somebody, if it's a family member, if it's a coworker, if it's a friend, that has helped us get better and helped us succeed and helped us to continue to move. And that's something that we need to just remember, and because it's difficult. The jobs that we have are hard. The jobs that we have are demanding. And to be able to have that support, not everybody does, but those of you that do, don't forget, take that minute. Take that minute in the morning. Take that minute when you're starting out or whenever you do it during the day. Think back of why. Think back of those that are there that are helping you and supporting you, because they are doing a lot themselves to make sure you are able to do what you do. So like I said, we know the work is demanding. Let's not forget about those and that give us this opportunity. Another group of folks we can't forget about is we can't forget about the hotel workers here, right? The folks that are taking the food, the hotel, the restaurant, the folks that are taking care of the rooms, the folks at the front desk. Let's make sure and take care of them and acknowledge the work that they're doing. Again, we need to be grateful and have some gratitude for the work that they're doing while we're here in Georgetown at this very nice hotel. I also want to take a moment to thank my union. For those of y'all that don't know, I'm a member of the United Association of Plumbers and Pipe Fitters. That's where I started. That's where I started my journey. And that's where I got my start as an apprentice. We're actually a pre-apprentice, then got into the apprenticeship, went through that space, which wasn't just a straight line, took a little bit of maneuvering to get through because nothing is perfect and nothing is ever easy. We always make it hard. But I worked my way up through the ranks, and in that union, the UA, for as difficult as it was, for the issues that were in front of me, for the obstacles that were placed in front of me, I still wouldn't change anything because it gave me the opportunity to be here in front of you today. So to the UA, to the Southwest Pipe Trades, to the organization that has helped me get here, I appreciate the UA and the Pipe Trades for what they've done to allow me to get to this space again and give me the opportunity. Today's a special day because this is the first time our new Secretary-Treasurer, Lorraine Montemayor, and I are before you in our new role as President and Secretary-Treasurer since our swearing in last December 2nd. So like Lorraine said, this is just next level. This is so important to us. And it is a very special day that I'm never going to forget because this is our first convention, the first of many, we hope. So I hope all, the main thing is I hope all of y'all will kind of take it easy on us as we're going through this. Because even though we've been around for a little bit, this is in the new roles. It's always kind of different when you get a different role. So take it easy on us as we're going through the weekend. We are going to make sure that we get everything figured out and we are moving forward in a positive way. So with that, I just want to check with you real quick. How many of you guys are excited for the convention itself and the opportunity to be with your brothers and sisters from across the state? It's a great opportunity. I always say it's a great opportunity. It's great to be in these spaces here. It's great to be in the rooms here like this. These are great. It's awesome. I mean, for a minute. Then, backside starts to hurt and you got to go walk around and get a cup of coffee or something. But in taking every opportunity that we can, last night we had our new member orientation, the folks that had never been to a conference before, a convention. And we had we had a session for them at 7 o'clock last night. And it was so good to be able to talk with folks that had never been through the process. We were able to explain, what the Texas AFL-CIO is, what COPE is, how we come together, the reasons we come together. It was at a 30,000-foot view. It was not very detailed, but it gave kind of an overview of what it is and why we do what we do. And what was so good about it, and for me anyway, was just the questions and the interactions. Having folks that are asking questions. What about this? Why does this happen? How come we have this? Why is that? That's how we're going to learn, is off the education when we're talking to each other. So yes, these spots are great here, and it's great to sit with the folks that you know, because everybody's sitting with somebody that they know with their district for the most part, or how it's setting out. But let's take an opportunity when we're out of the rooms, let's try to go find somebody that we don't know. Let's introduce ourselves to each other. Let us widen our circles. Let us make our net bigger. Let us make our reach larger. Because the experiences that we have independently are awesome, but when we are able to combine, when we are able to come together and just talk about what's happening, because what's happening in South Texas might not be the things that are happening in North Texas, and from East Texas to West Texas, and everywhere in between. So let's find time when we're out in the hallways, when we're out getting a coffee or just walking around here, let's find somebody new that we can talk to, somebody new that we can introduce ourselves to. Let us grow our networks and grow our circles. And with that, as we're doing the convention space and working through the COPE convention, the biggest thing that we're having this afternoon is going to be the debate. And how many folks are looking forward to the debate? I know I am. I know everybody that I've talked to about that is the biggest reason that they're here. Obviously, they're here to see myself and they're here to see Lorraine. But the second biggest reason is because they're here for that debate. And I want to thank the Texas AFL-CIO. For the work that they have done. I am so proud of the work that they have done. The team at the Texas AFL-CIO has put so much work and has done so much to put this together. And we are so proud of the convention that we have. We hope that you guys are going to be proud of it as well. We hope that you guys enjoy the product that we have here. We can all agree it's not going to be easy, and we might not agree on everything. But the one thing we need to be is united. We need to be united as we go through the process of our COPE convention. And I want us to think a little bit. I want us to think a little bit about the word and the moment of being united. Think about being united, what united really means. Right now, our members, our families, and our communities need us more than ever. And the first way we can address that need is for the labor movement in Texas, which is this room, the labor movement in Texas, to be united for all of our work, for all of our struggles, for all of our members. We set the tone. The unity that we have coming out of this convention sets the tone on how we move forward. Like Joe said when he was up here speaking, and like Representative Busey said, I mean, we have folks, we have candidates that are knocking at the door, pounding at the door to get these endorsements. Because you have that power. Your members have that power. Everybody realizes that labor, that the working people of Texas are the backbone. They are the important piece. They are going to decide this election as we move forward. We always talk about solidarity, and I have to tell you right now, we need it to be a reality. We can't just talk about it. We need to be about it. We can all see what's going on around us, and I think we can all agree that every time we wake up or we take a break, when we're looking at social media or we're looking at the news, we can see that things aren't in good shape right now. There are a lot of problems that are out there, a lot of issues that we're facing, a lot of issues that the working people of Texas are facing. So much anger and hate, so much finger pointing that does nothing but put working people against each other. Why? Why? Why are we putting working people against each other? Why are we doing that? We shouldn't be doing that. We should all be focusing on the real root of the problem. That's the billionaires and the big corporations. They are the reason. They are the reason. They are the reason things are so divided, because they use the power and the influence that they have. They use that at every political level. It doesn't matter what level. If it's a local level, it's a state level, it's a federal level. At every level of power, every level of political power, they use their influence to ensure that those elected do their bidding. Those elected only care about those big corporations and those billionaires, which isn't right, because we are the people, we are the majority. This is why we're here, and this is why we have named our convention Workers Over Billionaires, because we have to figure out who we're fighting. It is not each other, and we need to stop fighting each other. We need to stop pointing the finger at the other group. It is that group of people, that small group that owns all the wealth, that has all the power over our electeds. It is plain as day, and it is simple as that. So as we go through this weekend, let us not forget why we are here. Again, to unite. That is why we are here. We are to unite in this fight, to show up for every single worker in our state. Being united, not just for our members, because when we lift our members and we protect our members, we're protecting every worker in the state of Texas. have been a little bit better, but that's all right. But I want to appreciate it. Let me take a drink real quick, because I'm nervous. But I want to thank you again. I want to thank you for the work that you have done up to this point. All the long nights, all the meetings, the processes that you have gone through for your local endorsements. I want to thank you for that, because that is a thankless job. You have your regular job, you're running your local, you're doing your work, then you have to go take care of endorsements. Doesn't matter if it's happening in Houston, Texas, doesn't matter if it's happening up in DFW, doesn't matter if it's over in El Paso and Austin, anywhere you go. Everybody across the state of Texas in here, everybody that's taken part of that process, we want to thank you, because it is allowing us to do the work here this weekend. Without your work, we can't do our work as a Texas AFL-CIO. So please give yourselves a round of applause, and thank you very much for the work that you guys are doing. It is so valuable and so important. Think about this: when we leave here, we'll have an endorsed list of candidates that each of us has helped shape. We will all have had influence in shaping that list of candidates that we are going to endorse. And it's going to be a list that we can be proud of, because we've all had a piece, we've all had a part in shaping that. Throughout this conference, we have the opportunity to explore a wide range of topics. There's going to be an opportunity to engage in discussion like I talked about earlier. Let's find new people to talk to. Let's get their perspective. Let's broaden our horizon. Let's figure out how people are doing it in different parts of the state. It's going to allow us to participate in workshops that we're going to have going through the rest of the weekend here as we're here. It's going to help us sharpen our skills, because for us to do that, we have to get out of our shells. We have to get out of our comfort zone. We're going to have to go have that conversation with other members, with other unions, and figure out where we have the common ground. Because we all started this work for one reason. When we all started our journey, it was for one reason. As we take the training and the education that we get here, we need to remember that we still have a responsibility. It's not just come to the convention. It's not just go to the conference. We have a responsibility to take what we've learned here and take it back to our locals. That is where we have a disconnect a lot of times. We come here, we get together, the camaraderie. We don't see people for a while. We get together every so often. We drink some beers, we share a meal, we break bread. It's great, we'll see you later. And we don't talk about anything we did here back with our home local. And then we wonder why we can't get participation from our affiliates, from our members. The communication, it needs to be improved. And that's why I'm asking, is as we're here, take what we have learned here and take it back to the locals. Some of you do a better job than others, but we can all do better. We can all do better as we're communicating with our locals, as we're communicating with our members, as we're communicating with our central labor councils, as we're communicating with our building trades councils, as we're communicating with our electeds. Because without the communication, we're not going to get anywhere. We're expecting them to come to us. They're expecting us to go to them. We're expecting everybody to understand what labor is. And I got to be honest with you, I've been in this space for a long time. And I'm still learning new things every single day about all the different unions that are out there. We don't do a very good job of telling our story to the general public. And we don't do a very good job of telling our story to our own members. Again, we have a certain core group. We talk to the same certain core group for the most part. And it's a matter of getting out of that comfort zone. Because in a time when working people are facing rising costs, shrinking rights, and unstable economics, our unity is not just valuable, our unity is essential. Our unity is essential because, like I said earlier, this is a time where, we are on the verge. We cannot just focus on our shop alone, on our local union alone. Yes, I understand. Your union, that is home. That is the brand. That's who you're riding for. That's who you're working for. But we have to also take a look at the communities that we are a part of. We have to take a look at our members, because all the stuff that you see happening out there right now is affecting our membership. Each union is being affected by the majority of the stuff that we're seeing on TV right now. We all have members that are being affected. And that's something we have to come to a realization about. We have to admit that. And the sooner we do that, the better we're going to be. And at the heart of that unity lies understanding That's what political education gives us. It gives us the knowledge to see the bigger picture and the power to shape our own destiny. We can shape our own destiny. We can chart our own path. We can control all that. It's a matter of just pushing a little bit harder and putting a little bit more effort into bringing more people into the fold. This is why we talk about the importance of having union members running for office, rank and file members running for office, because we often get into the conversation. We love the electeds. They're great. They talk great. They mention worker. They support. They're a good vote. Right now we have an opportunity. We have candidates that are rank and file union members that we need to get behind. We have those candidates that are there that if we're not taking care of this business right now, then what are we doing? Because we, again, like I said just a minute ago, we have the opportunity to chart our own path, shape our own destiny. And that's an incredible feeling when you have that power. And when we realize that power, that is something that is not going to be able to be stopped. That's why the Texas AFL-CIO is investing in supporting rank and file union members running for office, because we know the benefits from we know who benefits from the current system. We also know who loses, and we can help change that together. We can help change that system together by electing, by making sure we get those rank and file union members into office. I get excited every time we talk about that, every time we see that opportunity. When we see union members, doesn't matter what office that it is in the state of Texas. We have union members running for city council members. We have union members running for different local offices. We have union members running for state offices. We have statewide offices. To be able to have that impact across the board, that is powerful, and we shouldn't waste it. When we look back on the wins that we have had over the years, they weren't won by sitting on the sidelines. None of those things that we gained in the past, all those rights that we have, that workers have, that labor has, they weren't won by sitting on the sidelines. They were won by members who were stepping up in solidarity because they were in unity. They were united on the issue. They came together because workers needed a voice, and it didn't matter what worker it was. Workers needed the protection, and they came together, and that's how this all started many years ago. Workers saw that there was an issue. Didn't matter what the issue was. It didn't matter if it was wages. It didn't matter if it was workplace safety or any other worker protections. It was done with members who did not sit silent. They didn't stay silent when they saw the injustice. And I think we can all agree right now we are seeing injustice happen day in and day out. Is that something that we can agree on, that we're seeing that every day? And what are we doing about it? We are organizing, yes we are, but we can do better, and we need to do better. They did what was right. They stood up. They stood up for all workers. They stood up for all workers, and they took action. And it's a time for us to join together in unity, to take action now, because our communities and our members need us. I'm gonna tell you a little story real quick about what happened to me the other day. Driving the same path to work every day, taking a back road so I'm not on 35 and getting into Austin. Road I've taken for the last 5 years, getting to the office. And we're at a stoplight. And it was the entrance to the sheriff's station, precinct, and the commissioner's office. You know what I mean? Office building there. This is 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning as I'm going to work. Dark, can't see anything, but we're at the stoplight, line of cars. 2 police cars, I guess they were sheriff's cars, lit up. Headlights. They were sitting there in the dark. And it was perfect. I'm this way, both of them are here, and they lit up. Headlights came on, all their flashing lights came on. To some of you, it's like, oh shit, I'm going to get a ticket, or oh shit, I was speeding, or oh shit, something to that effect. To me, it's like, oh shit, I'm getting picked up. I'm getting disappeared. That was my initial thought. I didn't think that it was a traffic violation. I didn't think that it was anything to do with a citation of any sort. My initial thought was, I'm not going to make it home to see my family. And I'm not the only one going through that. I'm sure some of you have faced that, and a majority of you don't have to worry about that. And I'm jealous that you don't have to worry about that. But imagine those of us that do. My initial thought was, I'm not going to see my wife. I'm not going to see my kids anymore. I'm not going to know where I'm going. I'm not going to know where I'm going to end up. They are picking me up like every time we turn on the news, every time we open our social media, and we see how they're taking people and people are getting gone. That was my thought. My heart sank. I reached for my phone to turn on my camera, or first to call to let them know, in those seconds, in that minute, and then to turn on my camera to try to document whatever it is. That might not set or register for some of y'all, and maybe it does, and for some of y'all it might. But how is that right? How is that right to live? And that, in my heart, that is fear that I have. Fear that when my kids are going to school, as they leave, is that going to happen to them? It's not right. And it's an injustice that we're talking about. That's just one example of injustice. That's one example that I went through. And I'm sure there's a million different stories. And we have a dozen locals that we have been contacted about that have had members that have gone through that situation. But not just in the way I did, they've actually had interaction. They've actually been picked up. They've actually been sent to detention centers. Our union members from the UA, our union members from IBW, our union members from the OPEIU, Office Professional Workers, our union members from United Food and Commercial Workers. The list goes on and on. This is affecting our union members right now. So when are we going to do something? When are we going to stand up? When are we going to get those electeds that are going to do something and have a backbone and stand up? Because if it's affecting me, if it's affecting one member of your local union, then it's affecting all of us. We all have members that this is affecting. But whether it's protecting our members or even getting into the different things that are happening around like AI, we have a whole new set of challenges that we have to deal with. As we're fighting these new attacks on labor, we always need to be smart enough to see the other ways that they are trying to divide us. Again, the finger pointing. They're trying to divide us. They're trying to scare us, dividing us on other issues. They're dividing us on race. They're dividing us on gender, are just a couple of the other ways that they're going to try to divide us, when we should be focusing on those billionaires that are dividing us. It is not the workers that are having the issues. It is the billionaires that don't have enough. They keep wanting more. That's who has a problem. Because they're going to continue to try to divide us. And we need to be better than that. Because when we are together, we are unstoppable, like I said. When we are together, we are unstoppable. So I ask each of you, don't let this be another conference. Don't let it be another one where we get together, we break bread, we go have a drink, we see each other, we pat on the back, it's great to see you. See you again in a few months. Let this convention be your commitment to unity. I beg you. Let this convention be your commitment to unity. How can we get better? How can we be better united moving forward? Because again, our members, our families, our communities need this. Start conversations in your workplace. Mentor a new member. Question the system that keeps workers struggling. But first, pay $25. Question the system that keeps workers struggling. And then let's just imagine what that can do. Imagine the future that we can build together. We can do that together. We are that powerful. We are that strong. Independently, each and every one of your organizations are monsters. They are powerful. But when we come together, they're going to be even that much more powerful, and it's going to be scary when we get to that point. When all workers educate each other, when we support each other, and when we organize, we become unstoppable for our unions, our members, and our communities. Because the one thing that we all have in common is our labor. It doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter where you call home in our state. Our labor connects us all. Each and every one of us gets up every day to go to work, to provide for our families, to be able to retire with dignity and respect, to be able to go home safe at the end of the day. Our labor connects us all across this state of Texas. Again, my name is Leonard Aguilar, and I'm proud to be the new president of the Texas AFL-CIO. As we look ahead, let us remember that our union is not just an organization. This is a movement. This is an opportunity, a movement that is built on the foundation of solidarity, justice, equality for all. A movement that thrives because of the connections we make with one another. So let's not let these opportunities just pass. Let's be intentional about the work that we have to do, the conversations that we have to have, what has to happen next. Because again, our members, we have members that are being affected, not just by the stuff that I talked about, the personal experience, rising costs, economics that aren't easy. There are so many different things that are affecting our members, and we can do better.